I like the rant. Ranting is fun. It also cleanses the soul.
Detroit is to be one of the best sports cities in the country, if not the best.
Surely Javi can't be as bad this year as he was last year. Surely that can't be the case.
One of the worst offenses, if not the worst offense, like in the modern era of baseball. Just absolutely atrocious. He is a piece to the puzzle. He is not the entire puzzle.
Right.
He's a puzzle piece, but he is not the entire puzzle.
This is the Michigan and Trumbull podcast with your hosts, Alex S. Freeman and Luke Giaconis. Hello and welcome to a truncated edition of the Michigan and Trumbull podcast, joined as always by Luke Giaconis. I'm Alex Freeman. Truncated today because you're going to hear a full episode coming out on opening day later this week. But we just wanted to take a couple minutes in our normal Monday spot, catch up with each other, and chat World Baseball Classic, which just wrapped up as we're recording. It just wrapped up yesterday, but wrapped up last week as you're listening to this episode. Luke, initial thoughts on the World Baseball Classic?
It's fun. It's a fun event. Now here's my thing, and this is not a negative thing. I don't go crazy for the World Baseball Classic. I'm also not a World Baseball Classic hater. I'm somewhere right in the middle. I'll watch some games here and there. I told you right before we started recording, I think I maybe watched an inning at most of the final game, when Japan won the whole damn thing. But it's fun. It's cool to see all these superstars, represent their countries, play for a trophy. It's the closest we're going to get to ever seeing like an Olympics type event for baseball. So I love it. I mean, I think in that regard, that's pretty cool. One question I'm going to kick to you is, there's been a lot of talk, mainly after the Edwin Diaz injury. Is the World Baseball Classic unnecessary? Is the World Baseball Classic overrated? And I know your answer is going to be no. I know you very much enjoyed watching it. Can you see people's perspective on that? Do you think you're kind of more on the side of it's a great event, keep doing it, or are you kind of more like me, where you're like a casual fan?
I think I'm definitely on the side of like keep doing it, because I think it is so good for baseball in terms of growing the game, in terms of getting people excited about the game. This is probably the best thing that baseball has done to get people excited about it. Yes, the injuries suck. But Diaz could have gotten hurt in a spring training game, and
exactly
that would be worse even. He got hurt in a meaningless game as opposed to in the World Baseball Classic. They were playing for something. And I think for me, one of the biggest highlights of it is that every game in general feels like an all-star game that actually matters, that these guys are actually trying to win, that these guys are competing their hearts out in. And I mean, we got in the final out was Shohei Ohtani striking out Mike Trout.
Yeah.
Like to get that matchup is incredible. Is something that we will never get. Like the atmosphere of it was like the best World Series Game 7.
Yep.
Where it is just so much pressure, so much intensity for these guys to go out and compete in a way that was just like masterful and beautiful, and everything that is great about baseball was happening. Now, I'm excited for it in future iterations where I hope that they play with the pitch clock and the larger bases, because I think that it really drove home for me how much I like those rule changes. Having not watched a Major League Baseball season yet with them, knowing that they were coming, and then watching moments in the World Baseball Classic where I'm like, is this at bat still going on? Despite the fact that we're watching, Shohei pitch to Trout, like in the, but I'm still, and Trout's not a guy who gets really out of the box all that often, but you're still seeing it. You're like, come on, let's just throw the pitch. Let's go. Let's
Yeah.
get this going.
No, I agree. I think that was definitely something that was overlooked going into this World Baseball Classic was you just implemented all these new rules that a lot of these players have to learn, and then for 3 weeks we're like, well, remember those new rules that you got to learn for the season? Just don't worry about it for these 3 weeks. You can worry about them for when you cram in the next 6 games over the course of the next 6 days or whatever it is. But yeah, and I think kind of going back to the question I posed to you, you said it perfectly. Edwin Diaz could have easily just have gotten hurt in a spring training game just as easily as he did in a game for the World Baseball Classic for the WBC.
Yeah, it's not like he wasn't going to be
you.
playing baseball that day.
Right. Yeah, it's like he was just taking, all of spring training off and was just, it's kind of how like do like with the NFL preseason where it's like maybe they play like a series and then they're done for the, I mean, it can happen with anything. Ironic enough that all the people complaining about this are Mets fans. I don't know. I'll leave it up to the listeners to decide. But I'll always find a way to Mets it up, folks. What do you want us to tell you? I mean, we've been saying it now for 4 seasons.
They really, really will. And I think that one of the things that I also like really, really loved was like getting to see this different mixture of guys, or like thinking about which games. I did not watch all of the games of the World Baseball Classic. It was not a constant companion. There's obviously,
yeah,
it's March Madness. There's the NBA is getting close to the playoffs. There's competitive hockey happening. There's a lot of other sports on the calendar.
Spring training games.
This is not normally a time that I'm necessarily overly tuned into baseball just yet, but it did create like the Venezuela v the Dominican Republic. Like I was like, I'm absolutely going to watch that game because one, I want to see Miguel Cabrera in the dugout because I love Miggy. But like being able to see some of those types of things as well, where these like elder statesmen of their country's baseball tradition, like Miguel Cabrera with the Venezuelan guys, kind of like being surrounded by this young talent that like they all grew up loving Miguel Cabrera, and it is part of like why they became baseball players. And now here they are like playing on a team with Miggy against the Dominican Republic, in what was a great matchup as well.
Yeah, it's a fun event. Do I think it's a perfect event? No. Do I think they can, next time? I think when are they doing this again? Was it 2026?
2026. We do have it confirmed, and Mike Trout is also confirmed to be participating. For those that were worried about if Mike Trout would play in the 2026 World Baseball Classic.
Good. I was losing sleep over that for many hours. So okay.
Yes, to avenge that Ohtani strikeout.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I don't think it's a perfect event by any means, but it's fun. I kind of just to reiterate what I said in the beginning. I'm a casual fan. I don't worship at the altar of the World Baseball Classic, but I definitely don't by any means think it's a pointless, dumb event. Obviously, it's got a lot of there's a lot of pride and a lot of passion that goes. These guys are representing their countries. That's awesome. That's a really cool, and that's a really thing to to take with pride and be proud of that. So I'm somewhere right in the middle, but I think for people who love it, that's great. People who hate it, I don't know. A lot of people hate a lot of things.
It's true.
I don't know. Maybe find something else to watch. What do I tell you? I don't know.
And I think it. I was texting about this with a buddy today. That it goes a long way to also like solidifying, like how good are some of these guys in your mind. Like if you did not already think Shohei Ohtani was the GOAT, this event went a long way to solidify that in your mind, because as I texted to him today, I was like, yeah, because like I feel great if Shohei Ohtani is coming up to bat in the exact situation, down a run, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs. I feel great if Ohtani's up to bat. I don't feel great if Mike Trout is into pitch.
Yeah.
But I feel great having Ohtani into pitch.
Well, if Mike Trout's pitching, that means you are on the end of a beating. So
things are not going well if Mike Trout is pitching for you.
Things are going well, absolutely.
And just like great stories of like guys who had never played affiliated baseball before, who were not on any Major League Baseball team's radar. The name is escaping me right now, but the Tigers picked up that pitcher.
Was he from Dominican Republic? Am I wrong on that?
I think so. Like you see these guys like come in and just like mow down some Major League Baseball players, and you go, "Oh, hello."
Well, the Trey Turner moment
to the show.
Yeah, wasn't it that Trey Turner moment in and of itself was pretty sick. I think that was pretty top notch. So yeah, yeah.
The first time in
I
Trey
saw that
Turner's
this from
career
Tigers.
that he's homered in 3 straight games. Like, just
Right. Yeah.
incredible moments, incredible fun. Yeah, I mean, very few notes, if any notes, for the World Baseball Classic. I think that
Yep.
one of the things Major League Baseball has gotten right.
Yeah. Fair. Fair. I'm trying to figure out what that kid's name is real quick in the World Baseball Classic. Sorry, it's gonna drive me crazy. Hurry, fill for time, please.
We will see him soon in West Michigan at the Whitecaps. We will see him soon in Erie. This is me filling for time by just naming our minor league affiliates. Then he'll go to Toledo, and then we'll probably trade him at the trade deadline, I'm sure.
I can't find it. This was a waste of time, but it's a pretty cool story. I just can't remember what the kid's name is.
Yeah, like great stuff, and awesome stuff. Now, one of the things that you'll notice, those of you that watch the show, is that a couple weeks from now you'll see Luke and I magically change back into these outfits in the middle of a show, because we just recorded a great interview with Craig Colby, the author of a book called All Caps: Stories That Justify an Outrageous Hat Collection. He's also a Tigers fan, which was just a beautiful bonus. And it's a great interview. So make sure in a couple of weeks you tune into that episode as well to check out the interview when we drop that.
Yeah, Craig was awesome. That was a lot of fun. He is a very personable man, and he has a hat. He's got a hat collection. We'll just leave it at that. Yeah.
Check out the interview, then check out the book. And then again, as this episode drops, it is opening week of Major League Baseball. The season will begin later this week. On opening day, we will have an episode of the Michigan and Trumbull podcast drop with our regular crew of guys who we are going to chat season preview with. And we're looking forward to that episode as well. So make sure you tune in, and thank you all for the listening that you do as we go into this baseball season. Who knows what to expect from the Tigers? An undefeated April? We'll see.
Looks like Alex has been drinking before the shows again.
They haven't lost yet a game in April.
In April?
Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll give it to you. All right.
We'll see what happens. But Luke, we will talk soon.